Hello, everyone. It's so wonderful of you to join us today. And I'm just going to give it a few minutes for a few people to join in and make sure they're here for the webinar. So this is a shorter webinar than some of our others. It is a 30-minute series. So we'll be going through NexaX 3.0, our newest release of our NexaX software that we're really excited about. And then we'll open up for the last few minutes for Q&A. Of course, if questions go in depth, we can always go a little bit over, since it is a shorter webinar, but we're going to try and keep the presentation pretty tight. This will be the first, high-level dive into NexaX 3.0. So I did want to, recommend that we have the chat feature as well as the Q&A feature. So after today's presentation, if there's an area that you want us to dive a little deeper into, or you want to know more about, please make sure to let us know. And we will be happy to use that for a follow-up webinar on a deeper dive for NexaX 3.0. Before we get started, I did want to cover just a few housekeeping items, and that is largely to do with technical difficulties and things like that. So if you look at the bottom center of your screen, you'll see that there's an opportunity for chat as well as a Q&A button. So the chat specifically is reserved for troubleshooting with you guys on any sort of technical difficulties you might have. That goes directly to me and the other host, and we'll work through that process with you as quickly as possible. The Q&A, we will do Q&A at the end of the presentation. So as the presentation is going, feel free to enter your questions in as they come to you. Don't worry about any wait until the end to get those questions in there. That won't be a problem at all. And on the technical difficulty side, if you have any issues with video, like whether that be spotty video, delayed video, or spotty or delayed audio, much like your favorite AT guy, the best course of action is to exit the webinar and rejoin, and that will actually solve the problem about 95% of the time. If you continue to experience difficulties after that, please message us and we'll be sure to jump on that with you. So with that, I'd love to go ahead and get started, and I'd love to introduce to you to our Chief Technology Officer, Azar Medalsi. So Azar leads both our hardware development teams as well as our software engineering teams, is probably one of the brightest minds I know, and has really spent a lot of time with the team building NexaX 3.0. So he's going to share about NexaX 3.0 with you guys and really see how that can impact your productivity and your management of your Nexa fleet, whether you be an existing user or you're looking at joining the Nexa family at the desktop or an industrial level. So after that, we'll do a short Q&A. My co-host Tyler will be doing that Q&A with you, and then we'll wrap up. So with that, I'll go ahead and turn it over to Azar.
Thank you, Louis. Hi, everyone. Thank you for joining. And let's just jump right to it. As Louis said, we want to keep this presentation concise, focus on the great features that we bring with NexaX 3.0. So let's start with the why. Always when you look at products, the main thing you want to focus on is what problem do you solve, And over the years, obviously, we've developed our software capabilities. And then came a time where we kind of stopped and looked at our whole portfolio. And it was obvious that we have a very fast printer. So we wanted to check every step in the way, from file preparation all the way to a finished part. What is the amount of time that people are spending in each step in the way, to make sure we're not kicking the can down the road, providing a very fast printer, but actually the other steps are consuming a longer time. And it turned out that in many cases, file preparation actually takes longer than the actual print time. And the thing we kind of wanted to make sure is that we provide you, the user, with tools that allows you to condense this time as much as possible. So we went ahead and looked at the pieces within the software that really consume more time than it should. And so I'm going to cover those features that we implemented in NexaX 3.0, which I think addresses a lot of those additional steps. For instance, disjointed components. Some users are more interested in understanding how their fleet is being managed. Others are interested in streamlining, let's say, support and orientation, hollowing of parts, latticing, etc. Others would like to get a deeper understanding into the actual print process and how to optimize there. So we really dissected each piece and came up with this significant update that we think addresses a lot of those, let's say, friction points in the process. And at the end of the day, what we believe that we are bringing to the table with NexaX 3.0 is really increasing your confidence in your file preparation step. You can see here, as I'm talking, the video kind of going through the modules, and I'm going to review it during this short webinar. So increase your confidence in every step that you're taking, because we give you visibility, we give you a lot of control. Of course, first print yield and first print success are extremely important. Every print that is failing is time and money. The efficiency in the process, how do you get from start to end in a streamlined way? How do you prioritize different tasks depending on what is important to you? Providing an overview of your fleet management, and share with you some of the components that are AI powered. We've been using behind the scenes machine learning for the past probably 5 years. So this presentation is going to be about you. How do we enable you as the user? A lot of new features, but also kind of reminding you some of the key benefits that we have in NexaX in general. So let's dive right into it. In terms of what the different tiers or different models of NexaX, we have the basic component, basic software that, of course, you receive with every printer that you buy. NexaX Pro, which gives you additional benefits, for instance, hollowing and latticing, part packing on the build plate, open material platform, and a few other components. And for those of you who are using our QLS product line, the SLS, there is also NexaX for QLS. So let's look kind of in an overview, how did we build the full user experience in this product? If you look at the top of our software, you will see a few tabs. The first one is the file preparation tab that you can see here. That is your, area that you all know very well. You upload the file, you orient, you add supports, you do all of the steps that are required for you to optimize and prepare your file for printing. You'll have your printer settings, the details of the specific settings that you had for this specific file, etc. The next tab that you'll see here is a dedicated tab for our dental users. What we've done here is we've streamlined a lot of the steps that were previously manual and required a lot of user intervention to one continuous flow. I'll just give you an example. I know this presentation is not dental specific, but just to share with you this interesting and capable module. If you have different dental indications, you can see here the different classifications. You can put them in one file, one folder, and then our software will be able to sort them through, pack them in the most optimized way on a build plate, and then you can automatically go into file print. So it saves a lot of those steps in the way. So just one of those capabilities that we've introduced there. And the third tab is fleet management. In fleet management, you really see an overview of your different printers, how many machines do you have, how many prints were completed in the last, here you can see the last month, uptime of each of those printers and overall. You have a specific section for resin. And of course, you have the history of each of those printers. So you can see that in one place, you can really quickly move between different modules and different components that are part of the whole workflow of managing either your printer or your fleet, or of course, preparing your file. And you don't need to jump between different applications, different components, different companies, let's say, that are providing those disjointed components. So let's jump into the real file preparation step. So let's talk about supports. In supports, we're offering the choice between pillars and scaffolds. You can choose different supports areas with a brush tool that you're going to see in a second. You can add cones, and another very interesting part is that you can save your own personal support profile. So here you can see the different tabs that we have, obviously generating those pillars in this case, and you can see now that you can switch to the brush tool, delete in one brush stroke the attachment points, and then go into the different module, which is cones. So you're adding different cones in different places. Of course, that depends on your preference as a user. If you think that you need this additional rigidity to the support generation, here you can see the scaffolding engine that is being added. And overall, like I said, you can take those settings that you dialed in for your specific application, for your specific file, save them, and then you can easily return to them in the next time you're preparing a file, and save all of those steps that you had before. Moving forward, you can lighten, reinforce, and obviously print very easily. So using the hollow tool to light the part, you can add lattice to strengthen and lighten your part. So you can see all of those, all of the dials and capabilities that we're giving you, the user. For instance, what is the wall thickness when you're hollowing the part? What is the lattice beam thickness, the inner cell size? So really a lot of control over those features. And once you're perforating your part, you can take the drain hole and even print the cap. So that's another feature that is very easy to access and give you the full breadth of control of all of those steps of lightening, reinforcing, and hollowing the part. Let's talk a bit about the components that use machine learning within our software. The first one is adaptive speed control. Specifically when you look at resin-based printers, the cycle is, as you all know it, the build plate is going down, in our case, to the membrane. There is an exposure to the slice. The membrane, the build plate, excuse me, needs to go up. There is a specific speed that it's pulling away. There is a wait time. Then we're going down, we're squeezing the resin. All of those steps have a physical model that is attached to it. What we've done in NexaX is we've connected between a host of sensors that we have in the printer, specifically in the Zip Pro, and the physical model to really be able to predict and optimize on the print cycle. And the outcome is that we can print much faster. We can accommodate for outliers within this physical model, and it increases not only the speed, but the print yield and the print success. So that's one very important feature. The other one that is kind of related is, how do you print a very large solid part? As you all know, as the part increases, it generates more heat, it generates more adhesion forces. How do you optimize for that while still maintaining high print speeds and high print utility? So there as well, we've used machine learning capabilities to optimize the exposure time, the peel forces, etc. And that allows you, the user, to print very large cross sections with very high confidence and success rate. As we go through the print process, when we start the first few layers, you all know very well the part is still within the resin. Specifically talking, let's say, opaque resins, you don't see whether or not you have a part that is attached to the build plate. So in NexaX, you have an adhesion detection and notification module that tells you whether or not the part is adhered to your build plate very early on, without the need to open, take a look, inspect, or wait for the cycle to be advanced enough that you actually see the part out of the resin. It saves, obviously, time. It increases the confidence that you have in the print process, and it also saves the resin that will be consumed if you just continue and only later on in the process identify whether or not you have a part. The last piece that I mentioned kind of briefly when we talked about the dental module is nesting and classification. We know automatically using this module what is the dental indication that you have within your file and how to nest them in the most optimized way. So these are some of the modules that are really using those advanced powers of machine learning and AI that I thought would be important to share with you. Here you can see, if we go to the job history, I've mentioned the adaptive speed control and the different sensors. We also allow you to look at those, at the sensor data print to print, and to give you an understanding of why, if any, things went wrong, or and really gives you this additional insights into the process. Moving forward to fleet management, we talked about seeing everything in one place. So starting from the top, you see an overview of how many printers you have in your fleet, how many prints were completed in a given time, the utility of your fleet, and the success rate of your prints. Another very important piece is resin consumption. Not only that you can see from your kind of an overview what is the most used resin, it also allows you to predict the consumption and then be prepared if you need to order more material, etc. You have one place where everything is kind of very accessible and very visible. And here you can see the history. You might have a printer that is underused. You can go and see how to address that and make sure that you optimize your fleet according to your needs. And that really gives you an overview of everything that you want to have in one place. Another piece that really brings everything together and make NexaX a very good tool to share information, but also have your own kind of fingerprint on your printer, on your task, is account management. So it's a cloud-based user management area. It's your own personal area. You log in with your name, your company, etc. And from this point on, this is your environment. You can see here in this short video how Benil, our capable product manager, is registering or logging in to his own account. Once he logged in, he can define his printers, the material that he's going to use in each of those printers. And then you will see that he will have an overview of all the printers that are associated with his account. You can see here on the right-hand side. Another important piece that we'll show in a second is how all of this information allows you to connect to customer support. So for instance, now he's generating his file where all of his work is going to be shared and associated with. All of the machines that are online and subscriptions that you have for his machines. And if he has any question, if there is any item that we're not sure about or we need support, it's very easy to click the support button within NexaX, and you're instantaneously connected to our support team and able to chat or look into our database and get the help that you need. You can, we just showed you the file storing and the personal place. It also allows you to now take and export everything that you've done and share it with other team members. So, there are other platforms where you prepare a file and you're almost kind of forced to send it to the printer for print. Here, we're allowing the user to save his file, save his scene, and schedule the prints based on his preference. For instance, you can see here the queue. There may be prints that are faster and you want to kind of get them out of the way and deal with the longer ones later, maybe submit them overnight when you're leaving. You can do that. Or you want to maybe assign them to other users, so you can just send them via a local network, a USB, and that makes it very flexible and very easy when managing different accounts and different printers. The last component I want to share with you is our tabular interface. This is really a very important productivity tool that we have that allows you to manage multiple jobs simultaneously. So you can see here that Benil is working on one project, and now he's opening an additional tab. And that allows you to not only work on different jobs, you can work on different printers simultaneously. You can copy and paste settings, configurations, and objects across the tab. You can organize the projects and decide which ones goes when. And this really, this flexibility increases efficiency, gives you the ability to multitask. And this is one of the features that I'm very excited about, and I hope you will enjoy it as much as we do. So that was a really quick overview of NexaX 3.0, where we're bringing to you, our dedicated users, increased confidence in your workflow. We improve the success rate of each of your steps and prints. We increase your efficiency. We give you an overview of the fleet. And using the power of AI, we're increasing the yield of the print and the speed that you're printing. So thank you for joining me. I really appreciate each and every one of you, and I encourage you to upgrade today to NexaX 3.0.
Thanks, Azar. That was great. My name is Tyler. I'm going to help Azar with some of these questions. I got a lot of questions about features between, I think, between basic and pro, what you get in those versions. I don't know if you can give just a quick top level overview of what those are.
Absolutely. So that's a great question. There are a few main features that are different between Pro and Basic. Hollowing and latticing, which I showed in one of the slides, is one of them. Advanced mesh repair is another feature. The XY nesting is also included in the Pro, and the open material platform. There are additional features that are going to be released as we move forward with this release of NexaX 3.0. So I don't want to kind of spoil it for everyone. But the one thing I can tell you about NexaX 3.0 is that it's only getting better. We're not sitting on our laurels and kind of say, okay, we're done. The connectivity between sensors, productivity, optimization is something that is a real focus for us, and you'll see more of those features coming up. And that will be also some of the things that the Pro users will be able to benefit from.
Okay, great. Then I have a couple of more technical questions. Someone asked how we monitor force feedback technology.
Well, in order to measure force, you need a force sensor. So it's no secret that we are using force sensors within our printer that allows us to monitor different steps and stages within the print cycle. And like I said, the thing that we feel is very unique to us is that we're not only looking at what we're seeing now, we're also looking at the physics of everything that is going on behind the scenes, and the physics of the specific part that you're printing in terms of orientation and the stresses that the model is predicting that this part is going to go through within the print cycle, comparing it with actuals and providing insights, and obviously updating the model as we go, but providing insights to the user, but also getting smarter and better print over print.
Great. I have another really great question here. Are there any options available to automate the use of NexaX 3.0, for example, an API?
Yes, absolutely. For those of you who are interested in API, please contact us, and we'll be happy to have a discussion with you.
Let's see here. Lots of good questions. How can I create the minimum support needed? I'm not sure exactly. That's all it says there, but support needed. And it goes on to say this is reducing the appearance of the printed part.
It's a bit hard for me to.
Yeah.
If this user can maybe send us an email, I'll be happy to take it offline for sure.
Yeah, that's a good point. This webinar is recorded, so we'll be sending this out this week. And if there's any questions that we don't get to, we can definitely follow up in that email.
Yeah.
Let's see. Oh, someone asked about this, and Benil, thank you for answering some of these questions. Someone asked about the hot folder and the dental tab that you showed in the beginning of the webinar. And they just asked if that's something that could be available for non-dental use.
What we're doing there is pretty unique. For the dense packing, we can expand the capability to other parts, but the part classification required some knowledge of the indications of the different dental models. And this is something that if you think kind of from a machine learning point of view, it's very non-trivial to open this capability to every random part out there. So if this user that have this question have a specific classification that he's interested in, we'll be more than happy to have a discussion and get feedback on that.
Okay, great. Yeah, we can reach out. All right, awesome. I'm gonna end on a comment. Pasolino says the tabbed interface was a great improvement. Thank you, Paul, for that comment. So thanks everybody for joining us. Thanks Benil and Azar for a wonderful presentation. And we hope everyone had a great top level overview of NexaX 3.0, and we will see you at the next one. Thanks everyone.
Thank you, everyone. Thank you, Benil, for the help.
Thanks.
Bye, guys.